Your body language will have a bigger impact on your interview success than your words. Just imagine being able to win over your audience by practicing these simple techniques. You've probably been wondering why sometimes you fail to land the job, and oftentimes it's our body language that's the missing piece of the puzzle. In today's video, we're diving deep into the topic that most people overlook when preparing for job interviews. It's all about our hands today. So, believe it or not, the way you move and position your hands can speak volumes even louder than your words. So, for this video, I definitely want to highlight that I am applying techniques that are directly from Vanessa Van Edwards. She is a well known, amazing nonverbal communication expert, and her research shows that purposeful and congruent hand gestures not only make you more confident, they actually help listeners better understand and remember what you say. So, whether you're talking about past achievements or answering scenario based questions, these tips will ensure your hands support your message and never distract from it. So let's start off where we normally start off. Let's dive a little bit more into the why. Why do hand gestures even matter? Well, in job interviews, interviewers are watching more than just your answers. They're always reading your body language. And so, according to Vanessa's research, people who use their hands with purpose tend to be seen as more trustworthy, engaging, and authentic. And conversely, hidden hands, as you're seeing for most of the intro to this video, can signal maybe a little bit of nervousness or dishonesty. So let's make sure that your hands are working for you and not against you. So, as we dive in, I'm going to share some best practices that will be utilized regardless of whether you're in a video interview or you're showing up in person. But obviously, a couple of these tips aren't going to make sense for video interviews. And let's start with one of them. Let's start by introducing the handshake. Obviously, this is an item that is covered extensively, but it's your first physical interaction with your interviewer if you're interviewing in person. So I'm going to take a quick step back. Open palm. It's not going to be this high, it would be lower, but open your palm. You don't want to come over, you want to be open. Obviously, we don't want to have too firm of a handshake. We want to shake their hand a couple times, and then we're always when we have the handshake, we're always looking them in the eyes when we're having that handshake. And it's just going to be really important that your hand is warm and dry, and you may even want to practice these handshakes with somebody else in the mirror, but keep that nice eye contact. It's really going to create a great first impression. So now here's what I want to do. Obviously, the setup for this video and the way I shoot my videos isn't ideal. So I'm going to flip to me sitting at a conference table so you can see what it would actually look like in a job interview. Okay, let's start with visible hands. Having our hands underneath is okay, but what we really want to do is we really want to bring our hands up above whenever possible. So, what we're going to do is there's two recommendations. You can gently, don't squeeze, but gently put your hands together like this, or you can steeple your hands as well. These are two really good best practices, and what it will do is it will absolutely stop you from fidgeting and keep your hands really calm when you're not using them, especially when you're defaulting to active listening mode. But hiding your hands can make you less trustworthy, more trustworthy. So make sure you're doing your best to bring your hands up onto the table as I am now. Now, let's dive in and let's talk a little bit about how to use our hands to explain some of the words that we're using. So, one powerful technique is to double up on numbers. So, let's start with something like the number three. So, we might have had three major accomplishments within the success of a given project, program, or initiative. The three biggest accomplishments I had, Sue, were, and so when there's congruency between your hand, the number three, and then putting it back here, You're showing and reiterating that there were three major items, very, very powerful. Then there's an opportunity to do the increase decrease. Fortunately, Sue, we were able to increase sales by 15%, really setting the company up for success. With a decrease in negative consumer feedback, we really were able to achieve those critical NPS scores. So, moving your hands up and down to show potential opportunities for increases and decreases. And we can talk about decreases in a positive manner as well. Next is when something is really powerful or impactful for you, we come into our heart space here. Could say, the impact that the team had on this initiative was incredibly powerful and impactful, and showed that with great, strong team effort, we could really crush any initiative we put our mind to. So when you come into this space, it's all kind of feeling, heart centered, empathy, all those good things. Next, let's talk a little bit about bringing it together. So naturally, I'm sitting here with my hands, and just for the purposes of this video, the way I'm setting up, it's a little awkward to just sit here this robotic because I usually use my hands more, but I want to really just call out the gestures. So you could say, when we were working on that project, it was a great opportunity to bring engineering and bring the product teams together to achieve excellent results. And so you take one hand, you take the other, and then you bring them together. That can be powerful. And so let's actually talk a little bit more about that as well. When we talk about engineering, left hand, product team, right hand, we're constantly alluding to engineering's challenges with the requirements, or the product team's ability to release new features. So they're associating product with right hand, engineering with left hand, and then we can bring them together. Really powerful. Remember, we're trying to keep our interviewer engaged and connected in a world where they can barely pay attention. Next are using emblems. Now, with emblems, you want to be really safe to not overuse these. Use them on occasion, but they can be powerful. And you could say, oh, the power of that project, it was just awesome for the team. So you kind of come in with this thumbs up. You can say, it was A-OK. We really crushed it. Now, OK is a less frequently used symbol now. And if you're going to point and say, it was excellent, don't point with your finger, which can be pokey. Keep your hand a little bit more like, and you're kind of pointing towards it, but it's a little bit less pokey, less pointy, and that can be a powerful emblem as well. Then there's the connection between you and the interviewer. This is very similar to bringing it together. You could say, Sue, you and me are definitely aligned on where we see the vision for this organization moving forward. So you're starting to take some of those steps to bring your hand gestures in. And you can see my resting pace here is really nice. It's just kind of nice and comfortable. I've presented my hands in this very casual manner. Obviously, my chin is up, my shoulders are back. That could be another video that we talk about, but I'm just resting my hands here really carefully. It just makes my credibility, my trustworthiness go up quite a bit. I mentioned it in those critical steps that we just discussed, but let's just talk a little bit more about congruency. And so all of your gestures must match your words, your tone, and your facial expressions. If you're talking about something exciting, your voice and your face and your hands should reflect that excitement. And if you're not matching it appropriately, it's going to feel like it's not honest and it's not congruent. So saying, I'm so thrilled about this opportunity, obviously isn't going to have the same impact as saying, oh, I am so excited and thrilled about this opportunity. So make sure that you are constantly congruent. It's going to make them have the gut feel that you're not being honest and you're not likable without that congruency. And really, there you have it. Hand gestures that you want to use in your next job interview are going to be critical. And I just want to thank Vanessa again. Her work is incredible, and I am using all of her tips and tricks in this video. Your hands are powerful communication tools. By keeping them visible and using them intentionally, you are going to ensure more likability, more understanding, and again, more congruency. Hey, if these tips helped you, give this video a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe for more communication tips. If you want to hear more advice on body language, please let me know. We can cover other topics more extensively. And then I will leave links to some of Vanessa's best content in the YouTube description below. Thanks so much.